Central Bank Governor Njoroge has said he's not worried of losing his job. He says the job has been full of ups and downs, but he has tried his best.
Okay, thank you. I think all those that are asking me about whether the job offer is coming and all that, my view is simple. If it comes, it comes. I never worry about, this is the typical Kenyan answer. If it comes, it comes. I never worry about these things. You cannot worry about things that you cannot change. I worry more about the things that are in my control. That's the only thing that matters. And in effect, in terms of speculating, I have learned that speculation doesn't always lead you anywhere. If anything, it raises your anxiety level. And I do want my blood level to be sort of more or less sane, not spiking every now and then. I could spend all my day next to the phone, waiting for a phone call. That doesn't help. Let me get the work done. There's so much to be done. And if on that day I have to walk away from the job, that's fine. It's not the end of the world. The institution will remain. That is what is more important. And if indeed I continue, well, that's just fine as well. The only thing that will be different is whether I'll have I'll see you again in a few months, or I'll not see you again in a few months. But for those that I'll see again in a few months, and those that I may not see again in a few months, then, and this is where your question comes from, sure, let's have a conversation about maybe I should appear in a profile in your paper, whatever it is. Then I can sit and chill with you and you tell me how you saw things, right? And vice versa. I think it's more that than anything else. There's so much work to be done. So much work to be done. It's amazing. But I think it is important to take the long view, which is the institution is there regardless. And that is what is much more important. Okay. So I hope I've answered both your questions. So Brian, also your view. Maybe someday you should have a profile of me in your newspapers. That's probably the better way, and then direct it to Mr. Wallace. Let him see if you're worthy in this regard. But there has been many successes. There have been many failures. There have been many sleepless nights. And maybe one fine day, one will look at this. But this is not the time to have a reappraisal or sort of an appraisal of what has happened. I don't think so. This is the time to finish what needs to be done today, what needs to be done tomorrow, and then take it one day at a time. In effect, anything you could think of, any world that has interest rate caps, or any scenario that has interest rate caps, that world is not the best possible world. So if you are thinking of a framework in the financial sector, we believe that interest rate caps have been, in a sense, strangling the economy and therefore are not appropriate or not beneficial. It's true, we are going a long way in resolving this matter, but we need to do the right thing. We've done a lot to deal with those concerns. We now talked about this product, but I think others have talked about the consumer, the business, or rather the charter, the consumer charter, which is also significant in terms of dealing with consumer problems or the way the consumer is dealt with. That is significant. We've talked about also transparency in terms of what they are charging you and so forth. That is significant. There are many other things we've talked about. We've talked about the CRB. Okay, we are not there, but you can see we've gone a long way. It's there, you can look at it, you can critique it, you can help improve it if there's something we missed. So I think there are many other things that we have done which in effect deal with the fundamental questions that led to the interest rate caps. It's time to remove that thing. It's now sort of an appendage that is, in a sense, whose time has come and gone. Maybe it was the way to force us to get together. I mean, by the way, another element here is the way the banks look at the consumer and indeed the way they compete. I made that point in maybe more, in a way that was a bit more funny rather than serious, about the competition, the way competition works. I talked about the example of Eliud Kipchoge and so forth. The point is that we've come a long way. This is the time to actually move on with the business that is needed in the economy. This is the time to, forget all those things and unite ourselves together in this common objective of growing the entire economy. Omar asked about the AML, CFT, and gold. Well, all I can tell you is and you know this, you've probably been reporting it, not you as Omar, but you as the sector. I mean, the gold scams have been there for some time. They didn't come with AML, CFT things. And I think today it is gold, tomorrow it is something else. The point is you still have the same characters that would rather not work and would rather go for quick solution, quick wins, whatever those wins are. The trouble as everything else, that game, remember there used to be, maybe before you came, there was the Goldenberg crisis, right? The Goldenberg scam. And it was very much the same things. So I think the point here is don't look at it as this has just come to the surface now, meaning it's only been there in the last week or the last month or the last year. They've been there for quite some time. Scammers have been around, right, for, I guess, since the creation of humanity. So I don't think the issue here is to think about it that way, but rather to see what is it that we need to do in order to in order to strengthen the positive elements of our economy. That to me is the question. I mean, are there opportunities that are coming forward? Are there opportunities that are being provided to our young men and women? Are there opportunities? Is there a sort of a rule of law? Meaning, if I actually have done something wrong, I'll be held accountable. Is there that sort of level of accountability? Is there that level of accountability for responsibilities that I'm given? For instance, myself as a CEO, is there sort of a way, a mechanism to see, to be held accountable for the things I do? All these things. So I think that is the element, that is the reminder to us. I think there was a time when we were less, you could say, again, going to the running example, where you can say that, I am Kenyan, right? It says so on my passport. It says so on my ID. Therefore, I can run the marathon very, in a short time. You understand that sort of fallacy, right? So I'm making this point to maybe to emphasize that it's not that just because we are Kenyan, we are the best in the region or whatever other label you want to give us, it gives us sort of an automatic success rate in terms of these other issues. No, we have to do the hard work. We have to do the hard work. But that means there are opportunities also for us. So anyway, I hope I've answered your question, Omar, on this.